G'day guys, Chronicles of Solid here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm in the gear room and I'm talking all about the gear I use when I'm going camping off the motorcycle. So this is all the gear here that I use once I've pulled up at the camping site and I want to set up, feed myself, keep warm for the night. This is everything I use for camping. I obviously take tools and a hydration pack with me, that kind of thing. But I've made other videos on that, so this is purely what I use at a campsite. Okay, so the biggest area you can save weight when you're camping is your tent, your sleeping bag, and your sleeping mattress system. Now for the tent, this is the Naturehike Taga one-person tent. Now, it's pretty light, it only weighs in at about 1 kilo, so it really doesn't weigh much at all, and it packs pretty small. Obviously you can go much smaller than this, you could choose a bivvy instead of a tent, but I really like having somewhere a little bit private where I can get changed, I can put my gear out of the wet weather, and I can kind of sit up and have a stretch if it's raining and it's not too uncomfortable. And this one's a really good option. At only 1 kilo, it's really hard to beat this for the price. Other tents that are under 1 kilo or around 1 kilo, you're looking at $500-600, and this was only $130 delivered. And so this is my sleeping mat. It's the Klymit Static V Luxe insulated version. So it's got an R value of about 4.4, I think it said, or 4.6. So it's fairly insulated, which is great for those cold nights. This is the long and extra wide version. That's why it's such a big size for an inflatable mat. But I need that for some motorcycle injuries I've sustained. So this is a bit of a luxury item for me. You can go much cheaper than this and just get a foam type deal, or you could even use like a Mylar thing like this just as your mat instead if you're really wanting to save money. But I find this is a really nice item. It just makes sleeping much more comfortable, especially when you've got an insulated version and it's cold. So that's the Klymit Static V Luxe. Next up, we've got my sleeping bag. It's a down bag. I've chosen down just because you can't really beat it for warmth versus weight. I do have a couple of synthetic sleeping bags which are great, but their size to weight, they're much more bulky for the same amount of warmth. This is a 2-degree bag, so it's not the warmest of bags, but I've got some systems to increase that, so I don't really need a bag that's any warmer than this. Now this on sale is only about $130 or $140. It's still a bit of money if you're in the budget area of camping, but when you compare it to other down bags of the same kind of warmth to size ratio, you're looking at $300 to $600, so this is a much cheaper option. This you can get, if you're in Australia, you can get these from Anaconda stores. This is the Denali Capsule 300. Next up is my pillow. This is the Sea to Summit Eros Pillow Premium. It's the large version. This is a bit of a luxury item. If you're an ultra lightweight guy, you might not bother with a pillow and just use your clothes bag with all your clothes rolled up into like a Sea to Summit bag like that over there. But I prefer to be a little bit comfortable, just because I'm a big believer in if you're not comfortable and you have a crap night's sleep, it probably means your ride the next day is going to be harder because you're going to be more fatigued. So it's very small. I mean, look at my hand and it squishes right down. You could get the normal or the small version, which packs down even tinier if you like. But this has been fantastic, very comfortable, very easy to inflate, and also quite warm for a inflatable pillow. Next up we have my seat systems. This is the Helinox Chair One. It weighs in at about 1 kilo, maybe a smidge over. Now Helinox do now make a chair that's even lighter than this. When I bought this, this was the lightest chair on their lineup, but now they do make a chair that's a few hundred grams lighter. This has been fantastic. I've taken it everywhere with me. You can see the mud and the signs of abuse from this bag. I particularly like this one because it's got these hooks so I can attach it to the outside of my bag, so even if I run out of space, I can kind of pack this on top and not worry about it too much. I have recently got a Thermarest Z-Seat. Now this is just a closed foam cell seat pad. Obviously it's nowhere near as comfortable as this. When you pull up on it after a long day, it's fantastic to just sit down on a comfy chair. But when I'm wanting to go ultra lightweight and I'm pressed for time, this is just great to pull out, sit down on, cook my food and go to bed. So when I'm in an ultra light mode, this is what I take. When I want to be comfy, this is what I take. Okay, so this is my camping pot. It's a titanium pot made by Toaks. As far as I've researched, Toaks are about the cheapest manufacturer of decent titanium cookware. This one's the 1300mm. That's probably a little bigger than you really need for one person, but I found that it's the perfect size for fitting in my little gas canister, stuff to clean it, steel wool sponge, and at the bottom I have my Cedar Summit collapsible mug. Another great thing is the lid also turns into a little fry pan, so if you wanted to, I don't know, cook yourself some eggs or something, that works very well for that. So it's quite versatile for a cooking pot. The spoon I use is also titanium. It's the Cedar Summit titanium spork. The benefits of titanium obviously are strength, lightweight, and it's very resistant to heat. So you can use that to stir your food and leave it in the pot, and it won't really heat up at the top, so you're not at risk of burning yourself. And also titanium leaches far less harmful chemicals into your food. Aluminium, after a while, if you get through that enamel plating, can be toxic. So titanium is far better for you health-wise. Obviously, I always take a little pocket knife. It's nothing flash. It's just a cheap little thing I got years ago. Toiletries is fairly basic. I just use a little gotcha strap case that I got with some tie downs. Tiny little towel if I'm on multi-day adventures and there's an opportunity for a shower. Bug spray is a must, so I take a hairnet as well, this little Cedar Summit one. And I won't go through the rest because it's just obvious stuff. Toothbrush and toothpaste. I usually use the tiny little airplane toothbrushes and toothpaste just to keep weight down and size. I never go anywhere without a first aid kit. It's an absolute must when you're riding. I don't think I really need to go into the reasons why that's important. I have added some extra things in because these little kits are often not too bad, but they're not exactly tailored to motorcycle riding. So I've added some indigestion pills, some ibuprofen, some Panadol. That's important actually. I only use Panadol as a painkiller when I'm riding. So the reason I only use Panadol as a painkiller is because it has no anticoagulant properties in it. So other manufacturers like Nurofen or aspirin, they actually thin the blood. If you're bleeding internally and you take something that thins your blood, that can really exacerbate the problem. I'm really a big believer in only using Panadol or something else that you know doesn't thin the blood, so keep that in mind. The other part of my safety gear, I thought I'd just put this in here even though it's on my bike all the time. Actually, it's in my backpack all the time when I'm riding, is a Spot 3. It's basically a really fancy EPIRB. So it's a little satellite SOS thing. You flip up this and you hit it and the search and rescue guys will come and rescue you. Headlamp is great. I don't really like handheld torches. I do take one as a backup, but this is my main source of light when I'm out there. Basically because it leaves your hands free for cooking and setting up your tent if you're late. Little towel just to clean everything up after I've done cooking. That's my little burner. It sits in this little packaging. Very cheap for what it was, off eBay for $5. A mate gave it to me for free, so I've been using this for years and had no problems. Always take some antibacterial wipes with me just to keep everything clean, including my hands and stuff. Now, as far as water goes when I'm packing it, I have two kind of methods of packing. If I'm going on a really big ride, I will take one of these. If I'm just doing an overnighter, I just use the cheap water bottles and pack them in my side panniers, and these have been fine. I've crashed on these, yeah, dropped the bikes on these and they haven't burst or anything, and they're super cheap, so why not use them? If I'm on a bigger ride, obviously, like I said, I take this. Particularly in Australia, we don't quite have the same river and lake systems that you do over in the States. Now for you ultralight guys, you probably know what this is. This is my ground sheet, and it's a material called Tyvek. It's traditionally used to actually line the outside of houses when they're building the houses to keep them dry and out of the weather. Now the benefits of this is it's super lightweight. This is only over 100 grams, maybe 200 grams, so it's very, very light, and it's very, very durable. So I can chuck this down and there's no sticks or prickles going to get through and ruin the floor of my tent. Now it isn't the smallest packing. To give you an idea, a traditional tent floor, this is just for my Naturehike tent, is about that size. They weigh about the same, but this takes up a little more room. But the benefit of this is it's far cheaper, and it's also far more durable than the traditional lightweight tent ground sheets. Are very, very thin, and I don't really trust them for protecting the bottom of my tent. So I have chosen this. If you wanted to go really easy and cheap, you can always use a traditional blue tarp. I have in the past, but this is much heavier, and as you can see, much, much bigger. So if you can get your hands on it, Tyvek, I just ordered mine off eBay. There's plenty of sellers selling it really cheap. The next item that might look a bit strange is this stuff. This is Mylar with like a bubble wrap backing. So it's basically my insulation. So if it's a really, really cold night, I take this with me, and it keeps me pretty damn warm, because my sleeping bag is only a 2-degree bag. If it gets really, really cold, I take this with me, and it just gives me that little bit extra warmth and allows me to sleep in conditions that I normally would be too cold in with this sleeping bag. So the last thing that I take with me are these Sea to Summit dry bags. They're all different sizes and different colors. I tend to take my food in the orange one, my clothes in the yellow one, which is a bit more of a heavy duty material, and my sleep system in the blue one. This is 8 litre, 13 litre and a 20 litre. My clothing choice is also very budget orientated. I stick with full synthetics because they're light, they dry quick, and they pack very, very small. They also happen to usually be quite cheap in places like Target and Kmart. Just go to your sporting section and you'll always have full synthetics in that part of the shop. If you guys want more information on a particular item, just leave your comment in the comment section below, and I will do a video just focusing specifically on that piece of gear for you. So that's it for Moto camping gear. Thanks for sticking with me to the end, and don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below. I love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, I've been Chronicles of Solid, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later, guys.